Okay, you could say whatever you want, but at the end of the day, I'm going to still think what I'm about to say. This is probably one of the best episodes of Dragon Ball Super. Seeing Master Roshi have an entire episode focused on him, and him going back to his OG days of Dragon Ball, but then him overcoming something that I never thought was possible. Ever since Master Roshi's character was introduced, and we found out he was the perverted old man. He was the type of character that was supposed to go after women, be perverted, have nosebleeds, stuff like that. He was the typical perverted character in an anime. And it's something you would never expect Master Roshi to be able to overcome. But that did happen. Master Roshi overcame something, a part of his character that has been there since the very beginning. He overcame it, one of his greatest weaknesses, and he has now showcased that he was like his OG days, and also he surpassed his limits. I was very impressed with how this episode did that, just showing Master Roshi in a different light. How this man didn't have women making him lose. He actually was able to overcome his character flaw and become stronger, which is very impressive, because I figured that would be a major spotlight of this episode. For instance, Master Roshi, he was going to, fuck up, and he was going to go and want to touch a woman or something like he normally does in Dragon Ball, or, Dragon Ball Z we've seen as well, and even in Super. I figured, that would be used as for some comedy value in this episode, and it was slightly. However, it wasn't the main focus of the episode, which is even more surprising. You would think that that would have been a big focus, Master Roshi overcoming it, showcasing that he's trying to overcome it, but he was not lying when he did say he did overcome it, or he's learned to suppress his desires quite a bit, and he did that. So, I want to compliment the writers of this episode and the entire Studio Toei, that worked on this episode of Dragon Ball Super, because seeing Master Roshi do what he did in this episode, it made me very happy. Very, very happy. Master Roshi, he is not my favorite character of Dragon Ball, but he is up there. He was always a cool character. I always wanted more out of him after watching Dragon Ball. And Dragon Ball Z, he was kind of shoved to the back line. He wasn't really important anymore when it came to Dragon Ball Z. And if there's one good thing that Dragon Ball Super has done a good job with, is that it's introduced characters back into the story that weren't really relevant in Z. You have stuff like Krillin being relevant. You have it to where, we have, like, the androids, they're relevant again. We have it to where Master Roshi's relevant. I'm just liking how all these characters that haven't really been in the spotlight in a very long time, years, are finally able to do something, and showing that they are improving, they are getting stronger, and that there is more future possibilities for them. It isn't the end. And for Master Roshi to have that little, segment in this episode, like the actual entire episode is focused on him, it made me realize, holy shit, Master Roshi is still getting stronger. He still has potential to be a big, heavy hitter in this series. So let's talk about the episode. Number one, the fighting and animation art of this episode was quality. It was straight quality. It was quality. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not joking or anything. It was a quality episode. Now, there were certain scenes, obviously, where the art was kind of like derpy, but overall, it was a quality episode. I mean, a lot of the frames of Master Roshi fighting, to just the way the art looked in general, it looked really nice. And especially with how Master Roshi showcased his fighting style as well with this episode. I mean, this man may not be as strong as Goku, he may not be a powerhouse or anything, he may not be at the level of, all of our other characters, but he still has something that a lot of our characters don't really have, and that is experience. Now, don't get me wrong. Vegeta, Goku, Piccolo, Gohan, they do have their set of experience they've been through. They've been through a lot. They've fought a lot of people, life or death situations. However, Master Roshi is someone that's been around the block a few times. Like, this man has been around for a good long while, so he kind of has way more experience than any of the other characters. He has so much, and it's really hard to compare with anyone else. And even though he may not be, like I said, a powerhouse like them in terms of just raw power, he is someone that has been able to see so much that he is able to use experience to overpower those with power. And that is what we see throughout the episode. These characters that could be like near Goku, fighting Goku and all that, and making Goku struggle or Vegeta struggle or whoever struggle, Master Roshi was able to deal with it. Not because he was stronger, got a massive ass power up, but it was because of his experience as a martial artist and who he was since the very beginning of Dragon Ball. I love the call-outs throughout this episode to Master Roshi's techniques, to what we've seen from him in Dragon Ball and we never really got to see again. Seeing what he did throughout this episode, how he was fighting his opponents, how he used, the evil containment wave, and, he knocked someone off the ring. Just, he was able to wipe out a good chunk of the fighters by himself, and he was considered probably one of the weakest characters, actually, in Dragon Ball Z, because Krillin now surpassed him at that time. Everybody's like, Master Roshi's, I guess, not important anymore. And now you have this. Master Roshi proving his skills. And I really like the little tidbits throughout the episode where Master Roshi even admits that someone he's fighting is definitely stronger than him. It's like, oh yes, you're definitely stronger than me, you're definitely faster than me, but you know what? Your movements are just so easy to, keep track of. I mean, you're so predictable, and it's because I have experience, and I like that. I like how that was done. And when you see Master Roshi fighting throughout the episode, it reminded me a lot of what we said to Goku and Vegeta, that you need to train yourself to be able to move your body without really even thinking at all, and that's what I think Master Roshi was kind of doing. He is maybe not at the level where they're at, like Whis and Beerus and all that, but he is kind of at a start of it, and you can see that all this experience, he definitely has a good grasp on that, of being able to predict people's movements without probably even knowing what they're doing. It's just he's so used to it, and I just like that, how that experience was shown. But let's get into the main segment of this episode that got everybody just, like, shocked. Master Roshi technically dies in this episode. Yes, now, don't get me wrong, I know death doesn't really have much of a consequence or meaning in Dragon Ball. I mean, let's just be completely real with each other. Death really doesn't have as much meaning as Dragon Ball, or even some cases in Dragon Ball Z. But thanks to all these years, we know that it's potential possibility for characters to come back like it's nothing. So we don't really fear a character's death. Even if they do die, we know that eventually they would come back. However, there is one thing that this series has made it very well when it comes to the actual lore of the Dragon Balls. When a character dies of old age or disease, then you can't be wished back. And when Master Roshi was sitting there fighting and he dropped dead, like his heart stopped, that moment was kind of like he was going through a natural death because of old age, and that actually had me worried. And seeing Goku get worked up and worried, that's what the most surprising part of the episode was, because Goku's been shown as a character throughout Dragon Ball Super. He's someone that obviously is just an idiot. He's an idiot, and he loves fighting, and it just doesn't look like he cares about everyone because of how he acts sometimes. But in what we saw from Goku in this episode, when he got really upset, I mean, he was getting held back in Super Saiyan form, and he's like, fuck this shit, and he turned Super Saiyan Blue, just because, like, I have no time for this bullshit. He rushed over to Master Roshi, and you actually saw, like, he was crying. I'm like, oh my god, like, this is very surprising seeing Goku act like this. I mean, I haven't seen something like this in a good long while, and so I was very surprised with how that scene was done. And Master Roshi, the way it was done, it was like, holy shit, this is actually a natural death. That means that this man is permanently dead if he does pass on. Well, now we don't know if the Super Dragon Balls can bring him back or not. Most likely they can, but the point stands is that if it's still following those rules that was established in Z, Master Roshi wouldn't have been able to come back if Goku wasn't able to get his heart starting again. So that's what was really shocking about that moment. Personally, I would have preferred if Master Roshi stayed dead. I really would have. Now, hear me out. It's not that I don't like Master Roshi. I love Master Roshi. He's not my favorite, but I like him. However, I feel like his death would have added a lot more impact to this tournament. It would have made Goku wise up and realize what he needs to get done. He needs to not fuck around anymore. He needs to start wiping out people. He can't just be having fun and all that. He needs to get the shit done because people's lives are on the line. And that's what I was hoping would happen once I saw it. I was like, holy shit, this is sad. It's very depressing. But at the same time, this would jumpstart, like, some serious stuff in this arc, but that didn't happen. Now, don't get me wrong, I still like the way it turned out, because it added a very nice emotional scene between Goku and Master Roshi, and also Krillin, and also we got to see Beerus actually respect Master Roshi for what he did. He's like, oh, that's a good fighter. He even remembered his name, asked for his name. It shows that Beerus actually liked him as a fighter. So I'm very pleased with how this episode turned out. It was just a really good episode with Master Roshi just taking down opponents and all that, and him admitting that he needs to get rid of some of these opponents that, you know, Goku and someone else, or like Vegeta or Gohan, couldn't face, because they're such straightforward fighters that they're not used to people having trickery and stuff, like, you know, how some of the fighters that Master Roshi fought in this episode. And I like how he is very aware of where he stands, but also who he needs to take out. That would be a very big problem. So, good stuff. Very good stuff in this episode. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I love you all so much. Please be safe. Chibi.